Hey guys, what's happening? Bryce back here again with another video continuing our sports card investing journey and just having a little bit of fun and learning along the way. Sorry it's been a little while since my last video. Things got busy. I actually bought a car not too long ago. Actually, I took it home last weekend, so that was an interesting experience. I'll actually be making a video kind of detailing my research experience, my experience with the dealership, maybe how to negotiate the price of the car in another video in the near future. So keep an eye out on that if you're curious and want to know more about that. So you guys can learn things really quickly that and without having to go through all the pain that I had to go through to save yourself some time. So without further ado, let's get started. So what's happened since the last video? So basically a lot more research. Within that more research, 2020 Olympics were postponed. If you guys don't remember in the last couple of videos, I'm a big fan of the U.S. Women's National Team. Very bullish on their card prices because they're the best women's team in soccer in the entire world. So their likelihood of winning the Olympic Games for women's soccer is really high. So if they win, more people pay attention, more people want their cards, values go up, and you make money. So what do you do with that information? Essentially, what I would recommend doing is don't sell your cards right now. If you've bought in the U.S. Women's National Team, go ahead and hang on to those. Maybe wait until next summer, and hopefully they will perform really well. Or maybe even wait till the Olympics start and maybe try to sell them then, because more people will have the Olympics on their mind. So that's just something to kind of keep at the back of your mind. It gives Alex Morgan a lot more time to come back within the next year because, as some of you might know, she's pregnant right now. I believe she's like 8 or 9 months along, so she's really close to having her, I believe her daughter. I'd have to double check that. Somebody put in the comments below if you know, but so by next summer, I'm assuming she'll be back and ready to go, so her cards will also go up. Or who knows, maybe her having her baby will even make her cards go up. Who knows, that'd be kind of an interesting thought experiment as well, so we'll see. But what about in terms of research? So I'm going to jump to a couple different sports in today's episode. So first I'm going to start with baseball. Baseball, I usually don't like investing too much into baseball personally so far just because there's so many different prospects, a lot of uncertainty around the sport in general, and there's a lot of people to choose from. But the person I've been researching lately is a second baseman with the Los Angeles Dodgers, Gavin Lux. I'm very bullish on his card values and very bullish on him as a player in general. I actually played against him in high school, and he hit the hardest ground ball I've ever seen in my entire life right past me. So I've been a believer ever since then, and that was, let's see, 7, 8 years ago. So yeah, it's been a while. So I think he's going to be a superstar player. I'm going to be looking for his cards very aggressively within the next, pretty much until the season starts, especially since baseball season has been postponed for a couple weeks. It buys a little bit more time as well. Maybe even drives down those card prices. I lost out on a bidding war today for, I believe it was one of his autograph cards. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but it was a Topps rookie. It had his auto on it, and it was numbered 45 out of 245. It was bought at $76 today, final price. So that's just something to keep in mind. His card values are still pretty good, even though the season's been postponed. So that's the guy I'll be looking after. I'll probably buy a ton of rookies as time is going to go on. Now, let's switch over to basketball. So I'm kind of taking a shot in the dark here. This is actually something I picked up from Sports Card Investor. He believes he put this tip out a couple months ago, so I'm kind of piggybacking off of that right now. But somebody that no one's really thought about in a while. He's out for the season. He also plays for the Brooklyn Nets right now. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, him being out for the entire NBA season this year, that drives down his card values because then pretty much the entire basketball world forgets about him, and it might give investors a little bit of an opportunity to kind of slip in, nab up some of his rookie cards, maybe even his PSA 10s if you guys have the budget for it. So that's something else to kind of keep in mind too, because when he comes back, he's obviously top 5 in the world. He's one of the greatest ever, so that's a loophole you might be able to look into and try to make a little bit of money on. So that's something to keep in mind. A couple of other updates on things as well. So I looked into where my Giannis NBA Hoops 2013-2014 rookie card is at PSA right now. They're in step 3 out of 10, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's the step in which they go ahead and research the card that you send in to make sure it is what you thought it was, so they can properly label the card on the encasing that they bring out. So still a long way to go. That card's been gone since December, January. Pretty sure like very early January is when I set out. It's now April 4th today, so they're a little behind, but like that's fine. You know, I'm not in a huge rush to get it back, especially since the NBA season has been postponed. I hope to get it back before the finals if they still happen and they don't postpone the season indefinitely or cancel the season or whatever they might do. So trust us, I hope to keep you guys updated on that as well. I already talked about the Olympics 2020, what it means for the U.S. Women's National Team cards. I'm still keeping my Carly Lloyd auto card. I'm really excited about it, even if I can never sell it and say she retires before next summer, which I hope not because I love watching her play. I still have something that I love. So guys, buy what you love. When things like that come about, then you're not upset about it. So moving on to the next segment, things I've learned so you don't have to. I don't know if I've talked about this in previous videos, but I want to kind of highlight one of these nuances within trading cards about what variations of cards per sport are the most sought after. So let me give you an example. In basketball, Panini Prism, the brand, that's the most popular brand in basketball sports cards by far. Donruss Optic is starting to make a come up, if you will, in that particular area. So this is what I recommend doing. If you're going to buy basketball cards and you're looking for sought after rookies, buy Panini Prism Silver rookies if you're looking to get cards that are the most popular, essentially. On the flip side of that, if you don't have the budget for Panini Prism Silvers, because they can be kind of expensive if you're newer to this game, I myself really don't buy a ton of them because for everybody they're like $60, $70 raw, I might add. So it's just out of my price range. I'm not that too into risk. So a good alternative, if you're like me, is to buy Donruss Optic Chrome rated rookies. Those, they still are sought after, and they're almost like the poor man's Panini Prism Silver, if I'm not mistaken. So that's just something to keep in mind. So I keep hearing noises in my house and I keep getting freaked out. But anyway, so that's just some popular card variations in basketball. For baseball, however, the one thing I've learned in looking up Gavin Lux quite a bit in the last couple weeks, Bauman Chrome rookies, those are really sought after in baseball in particular. There's, of course, other brands, Topps, the Update series, those are really popular as well. But for Gavin Lux in particular, I've noticed Bauman Chromes are really popular, so that's just something to keep in mind as well. Topps updates, like Ronald Acuna, he's got some really popular rookies in the Update series from 2019, if I'm not mistaken. So, like I said, the more information you know, the better. Saves you guys time, so you don't have to go through all the pain that I did. Now, when it comes to, let's shift over to soccer when it comes to popular collections. So if you've got a bit of a bigger budget and you're looking to get into soccer like I am, there's two different collections that get put out, and that's Panini Immaculate and Panini Gold Standard. Those are two really sought after card collections in soccer that have a ton of really high value cards, a lot of autos, a lot of patches, like Cristiano Ronaldo's autograph card, Messi's autograph card, pretty much any superstar that you can think of, they've probably got a really good card in either one of those collections. And if you are looking particularly to purchase those high-end soccer cards, I want you to go on Facebook. There's a guy named Austin Brown. He's affiliated with U.S. Soccer Breaks. If you look up U.S. Soccer Breaks in a Facebook group search, you'll more than likely find him. He does case breaks almost all the time. What case breaks are is essentially he goes out and he buys like this $2,000 case, maybe, depending, prices might vary, and he essentially sells slots within that case. So for example, within the case break he'll say, okay, I'm going to sell every Cristiano Ronaldo card that's going to come in this collection. You can buy every Cristiano Ronaldo card in that collection for, say, like $80 or something like that. You can also do the same for Messi for like $80. You can do the same for teams like Belgium for $100. It all really depends. Highly recommend checking out that Facebook group if you're interested in learning more. There's a ton of opportunity there for if you got a small budget, a large budget, or somewhere in between. So highly recommend checking him out. So what else am I missing in that regard? Yes, there's one other thing I wanted to share with you all, a really valuable research tool that Sports Card Investor shared with me. Like I said, if you haven't checked out his YouTube channel looking for really consistent advice, he's a really good resource tool to use. He's on YouTube, Sports Card Investor, just look him up in the search tools. But he recommended a tool that you can use if you're researching card values, whether it's buy it now or auction, you want to see how they ended up being sold at or what value they ended up being sold at. You can look through PWCC Marketplace's research tools. You can type in the player name, the card that you're looking for, and probably as well as the sport, if I'm not mistaken. But if you type in Lonzo Ball, panini prism that you don't really need to type in basketball after that. That's kind of self-explanatory. How many round footballs are in professional sports? But I digress. That's not the point. The point is, if you guys are looking to accurately price cards, whether or not you tried to research over time, you tried to research as to right now what are cards are worth right now, I would recommend checking out PWCC Marketplace's market research tool. It will give you a ton of information you need. So, guys, that about wraps it up. I believe we're on day, let's see, 48 plus 21. Someone do the math for me. Day 69 or 70. My math still might be wrong on that. Sorry, guys. Through the sports card investing journey. I hope you guys have been having as much fun as I have. I hope you've learned something along the way. I'll continue to put out videos as long as you guys keep liking them. I appreciate the love, the subscriptions, the comments. I've been having a lot of fun making these videos. I think I'm going to branch out and try other things too. Like I said, I'll probably make a video about my car buying experience. Um, a little bit of more of a personal note too. I also tried a crazy diet with my friend where we only ate 3 hot dogs a day and a bag of popcorn for like a whole week. And I'm going to talk about some of the results that I got out of that and how I felt during that whole process. So if you guys are looking for something a little out there that's not related to sports cards, I'm going to be putting up some stuff on my channel that's a little out there. So thanks again from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. I hope you all learned something. Have an awesome day, night, evening, guys, wherever you're watching. Stay happy and stay healthy. Take care.